So next book, or last book, don't this. It is Sleeping Beauty. Again, one of my top 5 favorite Disney movies of all time. I love Sleeping Beauty. I love the animation. It's so pretty, so different. I love it so much. So, anyways, here we go. Let's start. So, first picture of Prince Philip and Princess Aurora, the friends, and Flora and Fauna and Merryweather. And here's our first cover page. Again, don't let this impress. They're only on the cover, right? Book pictures. Long ago, in a faraway land, King Stephen and his queen held a feast to celebrate the birth of their daughter, Aurora. King Hubert and his son Philip came from a neighboring kingdom to attend the feast. The two kings made plans for Philip and Aurora to marry on the princess's 16th birthday. Also at the celebration were the 3 good fairies, Flora, Fauna, and Merryweather. Each of them had a special gift for the princess. First, Flora waved her magic wand over the baby's cradle and said, "I give you the gift of beauty." Then Fauna waved her wand and said, "I give you the gift of song." Finally, Merryweather fluttered over to the cradle. She waves her wand to grant her third gift. When? Suddenly there was a crack of lightning. Maleficent, the wicked fairy, stormed in. She was furious that she had not been invited to the celebration. Stroking her pet raven, Maleficent glared at the baby. "I also have a gift for you," she hissed. "Before the sun sets on your 16th birthday, you shall prick your finger on the spindle of a spinning wheel and die." Maleficent threw back her head and laughed wickedly. "Ha ha ha ha!" Then she disappeared in a cloud of purple smoke. Merryweather gave a gentle cough. "I still have my gift for the princess," she reminded the horrifying king and queen. She ran over to the cradle and whispered, "When the spindle pricks your finger, you will not die. Instead, you will fall into a deep, enchanted sleep. From this slumber you shall wake. When true love's kiss, the spell shall break." The king was still terribly worried about his daughter's safety. He ordered every spinning wheel in the kingdom burned. Then he and the queen sadly agreed to the good fairy's plan. They took Aurora far away to a place where Maleficent won't be able to find her until her 16th birthday had passed. Flora, Fauna, and Merryweather renamed the princess Briar Rose. They moved into a little cottage in the woods. There, the good fairies put away their magic wands and disguised themselves as simple peasant women. As the years passed, Maleficent kept searching for the princess, but she never found her. As the princess's 16th birthday drew near, Maleficent sent her trusty pet raven to try to find her. It was Maleficent's last chance. The morning of Briar Rose's birthday had finally arrived. The 3 fairies sent her out to collect berries in the woods while they prepared some birthday surprises. After gathering the berries, Briar Rose rested in a woodland glade. She sang about falling in love with a handsome prince. Her woodland friends found a cloak and a hat and a pair of boots that had been left in the forest. They dressed up as a make-believe prince Briar Rose joined in their game, dancing and singing with them. I know you, I walked with you once upon a dream. I know you, the gleam in your eyes is so familiar, ugly. And I know it's true that visions are seldom more seen. But if I know you, I know what you'll do. You'll love me at once the way you did once upon a dream. The clothes belonged to Prince Philip, who, after a long ride, was resting in the woods with his horse. Philip was enchanted by the beautiful singing coming through the trees, and he went to see who it was. The moment they met, Briar Rose and the handsome stranger fell in love. They felt sure that they had met somewhere before. When it was time for Briar Rose to leave, they agreed to meet at the cottage that evening at the cottage in the woods. Meanwhile, the three fairies set about making their birthday surprises, but before long, they were in a terrible muddle. Fauna had baked a birthday cake, but the mixture was too runny and the cake was one-sided. And Flora and Merryweather had made a special gown for Briar Rose, but it was an awfully funny shape. It's no use, said Merryweather. We need to use magic to sort this out. I'll fetch the wands. Before they dared to use their wands, the fairies blocked up every gap in the cottage. They had to stop any magic for escaping and luring Maleficent to their highway. But they forgot to block the chimney. It was so wonderful to be able to use magic again. Flora waved her wand, and a beautiful pink gown appeared. Then, Merryweather waved her wand and changed the gown to blue. Flora changed it back to pink. All the time, the magic was escaping from the chimney. Maleficent's raven was searching nearby. He saw the magic and decided to fly down and investigate. When Briar Rose returned to the cottage, she thanked the fairies for the beautiful new gown and delicious cake. This is the happiest day of my life, she said. Then she told them about the handsome stranger she had met in the woods. He planned to visit her at the cottage that evening. It's time we told Briar Rose the truth, said Fauna. So Briar Rose learned that she was really a princess and would soon have to marry Prince Philip. Today, you must return to the palace and start your new life, said Flora. Up on the chimney, Maleficent's raven smiled. Briar Rose was heartbroken. She didn't want to marry a prince. She had fallen in love with the handsome stranger she had met in the woods. By now, the raven had heard enough. He flew off to tell his mistress that the search for Princess Aurora was over. As soon as darkness fell, the three good fairies led Briar Rose through the forest to the palace. They had no idea that Maleficent was already there, lying in wait for them. At the palace, the fairies led Aurora in a quiet room to rest. Suddenly, a strange glowing light appeared. Aurora followed it in a trance. It led her up a winding staircase to an attic room. Inside the room, Maleficent was waiting by a spinning wheel. Aurora had never seen a spinning wheel before. The wicked fairy urged the princess to touch it. Aurora reached out and pricked her finger. on the spindle. In an instant, she had fallen into a deep sleep. Before long, the three good fairies found Aurora lying by the spinning wheel. They quietly cast a sleeping spell over the entire palace. Luckily, the fairies had discovered that Prince Philip was the stranger who Briar Rose had fallen in love with. Only his kiss could wake her. So, while everyone was asleep, the fairies thought of a plan. They would return to the cottage, find Philip, and bring him back to the palace. But they were too late. Maleficent and her goons had already found the prince waiting at the cottage and captured him. Maleficent took Philip back to her castle, where she threw him in her deepest, darkest dungeon. She, fa- she fastened him to the wall with chains and left him there to die. When the fairies couldn't find Prince Philip at the cottage, they realized that Maleficent must have captured him. They quickly made their way to her castle. As soon as it was safe, the fairies magically appeared in the dungeon and freed the prince. They wave they wave their wands and aim him with the magical spear of virtue and the gleaming sword of truth. Then the prince jumped on his horse and galloped off to King Stephen's palace to rescue Princess Aurora. When Maleficent discovered that the prince had escaped, she roared with rage. She cast a spell that surrounded the palace with a forest of thorns, but Philip was able to cut his way through with his magic sword. Suddenly, a huge and terrible black dragon appeared. The dragon laughed wickedly. Ha 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 ha! It was Maleficent. Prince Philip held up his magic shield that the scorching flames could not harm him. The battle had begun. The dragon soared into the air and swooped down toward Prince Philip. The prince hurled the sword of truth at the dragon's chest. The beast crashed onto the ground. Maleficent was dead. Prince Philip raced toward the palace. He quickly found the room where Sleeping Beauty lay. As he gently kissed her, she opened her eyes. The spell was broken. The good fairy's spell was broken too. All around the palace, people began to awake from their enchanted sleep. The king and queen were delighted to have their beloved daughter back again. That evening, a magnificent ball was held to celebrate the wedding of Philip and Aurora. The princess was dressed in the beautiful blue gown, but Flora couldn't resist changing. But Flora couldn't resist turning the blue gown back to pink. Then Meriwether turned it back to blue, and so it went on: pink, blue, pink. The princess danced happily in the arms of her prince, while their proud parents looked on. A dream come true. The prince and princess live happily ever after. And that was with the last page. Also, I put the pink dress. Pink. You can't go wrong with pink. I'll see you next time. Probably tomorrow, friends.